transition. Wait, there we go. Oh, what the heck? I don't think we have anything to do right now. Everyone's sleeping. It's pretty late. It's not late for me, it's late for you. Okay, so have you ever wondering like, oh my god, I forgot to hide it. Have you ever wondering what's happening to my banner? Like what even is this? So it's actually a music. Actually a music here. So you copy my channel link, which is this one. You go for channel banner wrapper something, maybe download. We use this and you download it. You can see we got this full image. Save and oh, this is JPEG. It's safe. Is it safe? There we go. It's safe. We don't have. Oh, we have this image viewer. Nah. Okay. And you have to convert them to BMP. I will use this website to convert things and convert. When it's done, you can just download them. You have the BMP version of them. BMP basically store data raw, so it's easier to do stuff. And as you open Audacity, new version or something. It's new version. Let me check for update. Yeah, this is the latest version. Okay. Then you go to file, import, and draw data. Then always download there. Go to BMP and open it. I forgot what is the setting, but let me see. I think it's like unsigned a bit and no addedness. Alien and then god damn it, what is it? And import. I'm sorry. Okay, maybe try again, but this time we will try 2 channel. Now this is double time, so maybe it's not 2 channel, but this is like, what is it? Sign a bit? No. So the unsigned is correct. Maybe easy 48K. And where do I get the music from? We I fucked up or something. I can't find them. What are they? Oh, there we go. This one. This is the music over here. It should be around here. So it's maybe cut apart so the range you about 1 minute to some over here. I don't know. It's kind of late. Who knows? That's one. Pretty funny. Why do I do that then? I don't know. Why? Okay, this is my new video. Go watch it, please. Okay, I'm sorry. What should I do next? How about I watch some video then? Maybe I look at it. People watching.
Recently, I received a Casio MT240, which was donated to me by Joey Ramirez. He had originally bought it and planned to circuit bend it, never got around to it, so donated to me. But it has some problems. First of all, the original owner had super glued some letters onto the keyboard, and even written on the keys themselves with a pen or pencil or something. I have to admit, I've never seen this before. Also, the bells does not work, as you can see. Also, the select button does not work. You should be able to see the light move from here to here, but it doesn't happen. So I can't access any of these bottom instruments because this button doesn't work. The demo button does not work either. So as always, I start with a towel to prevent scratching up the top of the keyboard, and I start removing screws. And let's see what's inside of the battery compartment. Arrgh, why does this always happen to me? And why is there just one battery in there? If they're gonna take them out, why not take them all out? Okay, so I got the bottom off. Looks like the battery cable is soldered on. How annoying. In fact, one of the more irritating things about Casio's keyboards is that they solder all of the ribbon cables and everything, which means I'll have to remove all of the boards together along with the speakers because they're all soldered on as well. So I'm going to desolder these wires for the battery compartment, and I think I'll do the speakers too. They're just easy to desolder and it'll make life easier. So, time to lift up the main logic board. It looks like I'll need to unscrew this ground wire before I can get the board lifted out. Unfortunately, I ran into a problem. It just keeps spinning because the plastic stalk underneath has broken off the main case. So, I'll have to use some pliers to hold it while I unscrew. Okay, so I got that out, and here's a close-up of the broken piece. Hopefully I can glue this back on. Okay, so I can finally lift the logic board, and as I suspected, I'll have to remove all of these boards since they're all connected together. So I'll start with this sensor board for the keys. And now to remove the board with all of the buttons on it. I'm curious to get a look at this board so I can see why those buttons are not functioning. I don't know if it will be something I can fix or not. Okay, so here we go. Well, you can see there is some sort of residue on this button, and this is the button for the bells instrument that I mentioned was not working. Honestly, I cannot see why this would stop it from working, but it does look suspicious, so I'll go ahead and take all these pads off. So I wanted to remove the key mechanism, but I ran into another problem. These screws don't want to unscrew either. I eventually realized that all of these little stalks are broken off. So I pulled the key mech off, and sure enough, as you can see, a bunch of these are broken stalks even over on the side. I hope I can fix these.
How can they manage to do that?
Okay, time to remove the speakers.
I mean, the plastic could be put
And these 3
over
slider
time,
switches.
so- Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so you can see this thing is pretty dirty inside. I plan to hit this with the garden sprayer to get it cleaned out. But first, I wanted to see about removing these stupid stickers. I was able to remove some of them with my fingernails, but others were just more stubborn. So I came back with a knife. Now, this is very challenging because it is so easy for that knife to slip and then tear up the surrounding plastic. That's why I'm actually not using a razor knife, because in my experience, those are far more likely to damage the plastic than one like this. There are quite a few of these to remove. I can tell the stickers are coming off, but the super glue residue is going to be a problem.
I wish I knew what some kid or some mom was thinking when they super glued those letters on there. Instantly, this keyboard was made in 1988, so it would not surprise me if those letters have not been on there for almost 30 years.
This is almost like a cruel joke for somebody like me, like they put those things on there just to annoy me on purpose. I mean, if you want to put stickers on your keys, fine, but don't use super glue for God's sake. So I thought I would try alcohol on the residue. I didn't think it would work, and sure enough, it didn't. It did remove some of the sticker residue, but not the super glue.
Oh,
This part looks like pencil markings. Maybe it would come off. Sort of. I knew that acetone removed the super glue, but it would also melt the plastic, so I'm finding myself in a conundrum here. The last thing I tried was glass cleaner, or as we call it in America, Windex. I decided to put this aside and come back to it later. So the next thing was to rinse all the gunk out, as well as the leakage in the battery compartment. This is the best way to get those speaker grills cleaned out, so this is another reason I love to do a complete disassembly cleaning. I used a towel.
what if someone watching my stream and comment to have a little bit thing here?
To dry off as much as I could, but I would have to let it sit for a few hours to completely dry. On the bright side, the battery compartment looks a lot better now. So now it is time to deal with this broken plastic. I suspect these were broken due to some large external stress on the keyboard, such as sitting a large object on it, or maybe during shipping either recently or a long time ago. So the irony is I'm wanting to remove super glue from this part of the keyboard, but I'm going to be using fresh super glue on these plastic stalks. Of course, this is the type of thing that it's actually meant for. Since the break was sort of lumpy, I had to sort of rotate these in order to find the exact original position they were supposed to be in. So while that glue was setting, I turned my attention to these key sensors. There was some residue on a few of these buttons, but I'm not sure if that's what was causing the problem, because I couldn't find any residue on some of the other buttons that didn't work, so I guess we'll see. I also washed the rubber sensor pads off really well in the sink. They were pretty dusty, however, this one didn't wash off for whatever reason. So I decided to try some alcohol instead. Whatever it was.
I mean, how much are these things? I mean, let's see this thing. Commodore 64. I think I about watching something about Commodore 64, but there we go.
In a previous episode, I showed the incredible musical keyboard for the Commodore 64. And in that episode, I mentioned something about the SFX Sound Expander and how they were extremely rare. Well, not too long ago, I received this in the mail. It was donated to me by Robert Lazarus from the UK. So let's have a look at this thing. It obviously fits into the Commodore 64's cartridge port, and it gives you an additional cartridge port on top. I guess that way you could leave it in the system all the time if you wanted to. It will also...
Okay, so my first thought is, can you put a suspender in a suspender here? Like, it's in the cartridge slot, right? So this thing should fit in the cartridge slot. So if you have two suspenders, you fit slap one of them in here. So will they work? Like you have a double the sound channel, so you can play. I think some like 6 or 9 channels or something. It should be fine. But I don't know. Maybe it would fry the electronic. But this is my thought though. It's crazy.
So fit into the Commodore 64C as well as in the Commodore 128. Over here it has an audio output jack.
So now you got to keep in mind that the internal sound from your SID chip is still coming from the port in the back of the computer. So if you want to hear the sound from the sound expander, you'll have to plug in a separate audio cable.
However, I'm going to be connecting mine through the Zoom recorder so that you guys can get clear audio from it. Externally, you'll see it looks extremely similar to Commodore's Magic Voice cartridge, which was a speech synthesizer. It appears they used the same case design for both. Inside, you'll see that it contains a Yamaha YM3526 FM synthesizer chip. This chip is very similar. In fact, it is totally interchangeable with the YM3812.
Yamaha 3526. Yamaha 3526. 3526. No, not this car. It's like, oh my god, what the heck? Oh, YM. Damn it. Ooh. This look awesome, is it? How many cell channel? 9 channel? It have 9 channel. Oh my lord. Oh, 4 operator per channel. What does that even mean?
Found in the AdLib and Sound Blaster cards for the IBM PC.
Oh,
So let's see what happens when I plug this bad boy into my Commodore 64.
When I power it on, absolutely nothing happens. That's because there's no ROM chip, no software at all inside the cartridge. It only contains the FM chip.
So in order to use this thing, you're going to need some software that actually supports it. Now, I'm only familiar with one piece of software, and that's the software that came with it. Now, originally it was distributed on both floppy disk and cassette tape, but I have been unable to find either one of them.
But I did find the software online, so I can use my SD to IEC device to load the software onto an SD
Ooh.
card and get it onto my C64 that way.
This look
It still takes a minute or two for the software to load. Well, here we are. Now we can use the keys on the keyboard to play some tunes.
Wow, I love
But
that.
there is a better way to do this. We can use the musical keyboard overlay. That works a lot better.
Okay, so I was very grateful to receive this gift. It's a pretty unusual piece of hardware, but believe it or not, just a couple of weeks later, I received another one of these in the mail from Tom Carlson.
Put that together. Put that together. Put that together. This is my first thing I will do when I have 2 of these.
Out of Virginia. And it gets even better because he sent me the external keyboard unit as well.
Oh my god.
I never actually
Look
thought
at
I'd
that.
see one of these in person, much less own one myself, which I guess I do now. This keyboard is actually pretty big. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was looking at the photographs. It's got a full 61 keys, but they are full-size keys, and if you compare it, you'll see it's actually pretty big compared to some of these like toy keyboards up here.
It has a ribbon cable here that attaches to the side of the cartridge. And yes, you can use both keyboards at the same time if you wanted to. So now I think I can do a full test of the system.
Wow.
The software
That's
is
really
essentially
cool.
controlled by 3 keys. These 2 are used to navigate the menus, and then this one is used to select things. So first thing you might notice is that you can select different instruments. Some of the instruments here are pretty good. Alright, let's try the strings.
String. Oh, the string is just like moving up and down.
And here's the electric piano. Of course, I'm not going to show every single one of these, but here's the flute. Let's play synth 1. And now synth 2. Interestingly enough, there's another sound bank you can load, which will give you another set of instruments.
What? Damn,
This is a weird sounding one, especially on the higher notes. Here are some more strings. Raindrops sounds neat. Here's you some more of that Harry Potter song.
Oh god.
Cosmic Wow. It does kind of sound like someone saying wow. Ah, yes. I love the sweet flute. It has a sort of sustained reverb sound to it, which is really cool. Alien sounds like something out of a 1980 sci-fi show, maybe Doctor Who or something like that. You can do some other useful things like transpose the keyboard by a few notes, or over here you can do it by a whole octave. You can also split the keyboard so that one side plays a different instrument from the other. And in this section here, the LH stands for left hand, so you can pick what instrument the left hand part's going to play. And over here you can select some different drum rhythms. So let's give this a shot and see if I can play my theme song here.
Is that easy? What halfway how? Is that easy to play his theme song? Alright, that's easy. Okay.
Of course, if you don't like my demonstration, there are several demonstration songs on the disc that you can listen to.
Okay, so what do I think about this device? Well, the biggest downfall of the Sound Expander is simply lack of software. I mean, it's, I guess, kind of a chicken and an egg scenario. I mean, I guess there was, the SID chip inside the Commodore 64 was good enough that I guess the other software manufacturers never really thought there was any point in putting products out that would support this. Now, as far as the software that comes with it, it doesn't actually compose or edit music in any way. It's simply for playing it live. So in essence, it doesn't have any more capability than if you were to just buy like a regular FM keyboard made during the same time period from Yamaha or something like that. It's going to sound pretty similar, and you don't have to have a big Commodore 64 and a monitor nearby in order to use it. So, I mean, it's not all that useful for just playing music. Now, I have heard, or at least read on some forums, the possibility that maybe there was some editing or composition software that SFX made, but I have not been able to find a copy of it if it exists. That would actually make this device a lot more functional if you could actually edit music with it. Having said all of that, it's still a great piece of Commodore history, so very collectible, and I'm thrilled to have it. Alright, so again, I want to give a shout out to the two guys who donated these to me, and believe it or not, I've actually received several other donations in the past few weeks, several other keyboards, mostly Casio, although I did get a Roland MT32 donated to me as well, so you'll eventually be seeing that. So, thank you guys for all the donations, and
Wait, I love that MT. He's. I found him somewhere, so let me see if I can. There.
Grand Prix Tech. Back in the 1980s and early 90s, whenever I went to set up a game on my PC, I always had to pick what sort of video card I was going to be using, but then also what kind of sound card. Now, I was very familiar with the AdLib and Sound Blaster cards. Everybody knew about them, even if they didn't have one. And of course, everyone had the option of the internal PC speaker. But most games also had an option for the Roland MT32. So to me, the MT32 was always some kind of mysterious, expensive sound card that only really rich people could afford. Well, it turns out that, while it was a bit on the expensive side, it wasn't a sound card at all, at least not entirely. You see, the MT32 was an external MIDI module. Now, let me explain to you what the original purpose of it was. So, the way these were designed to work is that you would have your MIDI-compatible keyboard, then connect it to the MIDI module. Now, the module will listen to the keys that you press and actually...
Maybe we go off. I will go turn off the stream now because I feel tired, and I think you guys also tired. So see you later. Goodbye. Have a good night too. And